Hello students, welcome to the workshop that will show you 5 steps for integrating a direct quote into a paragraph. Before we begin, I want to make a connection. You may not realize this, but when you are writing with a direct quote in your writing, you actually have something in common with late night talk show hosts. If you notice, when a talk show host invites a movie star onto their show, oftentimes the movie star will bring a movie clip of an upcoming film that they're starring in. And before they show the clip on the late night talk show, the movie star will do a good job of setting up the clip. They'll let you know what's happening with their character or the situation that's happening in the movie right before this clip. And then the talk show host will play the clip. This allows the viewers in the audience and the talk show host to better understand this clip that the movie star has brought to show everyone. And believe it or not, this kind of introducing and setting up of a movie clip, is very similar to what you will be doing when you learn how to write with a direct quote in your own writing. So let me show you what I mean throughout this workshop. Before you begin, be sure you have these things. You'll need to have a pen and some paper. You want to have a direct quote from an article, book, film, or any other source that you would like to use in a paragraph. You'll also need a handout called Integrating a Direct Quote Exercise. This handout will be shown later on in this presentation. And you'll also need about 40 minutes of uninterrupted time. So if you need to pause this video for a moment, do so to gather all these materials and then come on back to the workshop. Okay, great. So first I want to overview the 5 steps for integrating a direct quote. You'll see the 5 steps on the screen here. Basically, these 5 steps are what you need to integrate a direct quote. You want to begin your paragraph with a topic sentence that establishes the main idea of the paragraph. You want to follow that topic sentence in a way that explains the topic sentence so that it builds up to the direct quote. This is the part where you're sort of like the movie star setting up the movie clip. And then the 3rd step is you introduce, quote, and cite the direct quote. After you've done that, you explain what this quote means and show how it supports the topic sentence. And then you end with the sentence that further reflects on the topic sentence. So overall, these are the 5 steps for integrating a direct quote. Let me show you what those 5 steps look like in a real paragraph. Okay, here's an example paragraph. You'll notice that this paragraph is color-coded to show you the 5 different steps. So take a moment and read this student sample and notice how he is following the 5 steps for integrating a direct quote. After you've had some time to review this paragraph, go ahead on with the workshop. Okay, so now I'd like to have you give it a try. But before we really begin, I'd like you to do some prep work. First, you want to absolutely make sure you have a direct quote that will help you support a point you'd like to make in a paragraph. Keep in mind, you're not writing an entire essay at this moment. You're only writing one small paragraph. Once you have found your quote, read the quote until you understand its meaning completely. If you need to, look up the words in the quote that you don't know or maybe that you're not sure of. Make sure you understand every single word in the quote. And then I would have you paraphrase this quote into your own words. This will ensure that you really understand the quote and what it means and how it will support the paragraph that you plan to write. So pause this workshop for a moment and make sure you do this important prep work before you move on in the workshop. Okay, great. So now that you've done some prep work, you're ready to do some pre-writing for your paragraph. You'll notice on the screen that there's a handout. It's called Integrating a Direct Quote Exercise handout, and it was designed by Linda Doe, who is a professor at Northern Essex Community College. If you look at this handout, you'll notice that the 5 steps are outlined for you, but they're asking you to do things. So for example, the first step is you want to create a topic sentence that's your own words, and you want to make one small point that you'd like to support in your paragraph. After you've done that, you want to explain your point in a way that builds up to the direct quote that you plan to use. Then you'll notice in step 3, you want to fully introduce your direct quote. You'll notice here on the handout that there's a bit of a template for you to follow. You can adjust that template to any way you'd like, but when you're introducing a direct quote, you want to make sure that you introduce the title of the article and the author's name, and you want to use a signal phrase like writes or says or explains. And then you want to go back after you've introduced your direct quote and you've quoted it, you want to go back and make sure you've included a page number, if that's necessary, as an in-text citation. And then you want to provide an explanation of a quote so the reader understands the quote and how it supports your topic sentence. In step 5, you may be able to use the paraphrase that you wrote when you were doing your prep work for this activity. So pause this video and fill out this form to the best of your ability, and this will be the pre-writing for your upcoming paragraph. And when you're ready, come on back to the workshop. Okay, now you're ready to create your paragraph. So use the pre-writing you did with the integrating your direct quote exercise to create the first draft of your paragraph. And remember, you can always go back and revise, so don't worry too much about grammar or punctuation at this point. Just write your first draft of your paragraph. And you can expect to write the paragraph in more than one draft. Integrating a direct quote takes a lot of practice. So go ahead and give it a try. Pause this video, and when you're ready, come on back. Okay, great, you're almost done. So now you're ready to finalize your paragraph. Read your paragraph aloud to see if you've included all the elements of a paragraph. So pause the screen and look over the checklist that you see to be sure you have a topic sentence, that you have supporting sentences, that you have double-checked your paragraph to make sure you've used the 5 steps for integrating your direct quote, and then make sure you have a closing sentence that helps readers reflect on your topic sentence. And then I would read your paragraph aloud more than once to help you edit for any misspellings or unclear sentences. And then when you're all done, congratulate yourself. You've just finished writing a paragraph that integrates a direct quote. Great job.